on it in case you need any help. And then, yeah, we'll have a presentation, then move on to, our panelists who will share a little bit about their experience and their job. So hopefully, yeah, if you have any technical questions, feel free to put it in the chat or ping me directly.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lucia. Let me make sure I have my chat box open and see to make sure if anything pops up here, I can see it as well. So you guys all know how to utilize the chat for questions. You can ask questions to the chat at any time, but we'll also have a formal Q&A time frame for everybody to come through. So if we could go to the next slide, please. You are here for a STEM panel. And STEM stands for, as you can see in the deck, it stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And all of the ladies here today who are on the panel and here to talk to you and interact are all working in STEM jobs and roles. And so I think we are also, I hear it sounds like almost like a doorbell when new people are joining, additional people are joining the meeting. While we are waiting for people to join, I just wanted to ask a question and you can post your answers in the chat window. And the question is very simple, hopefully. What is your favorite class or subject in school this year? And a reminder to use the chat box. I want to make sure the chat box is actually working. So let's see if we can see some answers popping up here. Anybody?
Valerie, can you see the responses?
I can now. I see algebra just came up.
Oh, good. Okay, so we've got math, English, another English, biology, PE, math, PE, language arts and art, history, physics.
Wonderful. Pen time. That's an interesting topic. I'm assuming that has to do with writing or calligraphy or something. English, wonderful. And we're going to come back to this question in a little while. And it's really odd because I can see some of the answers, but I'm not seeing them all show up in my chat window. So I'll ask for maybe some assistance from Lucia if things are coming up and I'm not responding to them to maybe highlight and ask the question out loud. Because I'm seeing, like I said, I think I see 3 responses. And Reese, you talked through quite a few of them, so I'm not quite seeing everything that I should be seeing. I love art and language arts. I just saw that. English, language arts, algebra. And, believe it or not, every single one of these topics has a relationship to STEM. And so let's go ahead with the panel and we can start talking about what those relationships might be. Diagrams, art and science, wonderful, that's awesome. So let's go to the next slide. I think we went through this, Lucia. I think I jumped the gun by asking you this question before we got to the particular slide, but just a quick review of using Zoom. And if you're having any issues, like me having issues that I can't see the things showing up in the chat, let's see, the reason why is they're not sending it to you by direct message, but I should still see it in the chat window. So
I got a few direct messages, so maybe they're just, you're sending direct messages and only certain people can see them. So if you want to send it out to everyone, you have to select to everyone when you send a chat.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so let's go to the next slide and let's talk just for a moment about STEM. I mentioned STEM is pretty broad. science, technology, engineering, and math. It sounds like, it's just a few things. And, usually when you think about STEM, you might think about programming, or you might think about chemistry, or you might think about mathematics, data science, things like that. But STEM really is so broad. It covers so many different topics. If you think about sports, for example, sports are STEM careers in sports, and how sports teams use STEM is, STEM is gaming for sure, absolutely. How sports teams use STEM in many ways is, there's a lot of AI and machine learning, if you've heard those terms before, that can look at information and how teams have performed in the past and help understand and predict what teams that are playing with one another might, playing against one another, what the scores might be. Who might be ahead at halftime, who might catch up in the fourth quarter. The medical and nursing technology, if you really like helping people, we've had doctors, we've had surgeons, we've had anesthesiologists join the panels in the past. All of that is associated with STEM. And so it's not just about coding, but the thing that's super interesting about STEM is because it encompasses so many different things, it also is a great thing for so many different types of personalities. Like, I often like to work on my own. I like to sit down and I like to think. And so things like coding and data engineering is a good field for me to be in. For people who are really outgoing and like to be around people, we mentioned, medicine, medical careers, nursing. We have one of the panelists will talk about some of the roles that she plays in terms of, you can guess who she is because you can see the car in her background screen. She helps service vehicles and works with customers quite a bit. So STEM is really broad and encompassing. Art, design, fashion, anything that you can think of, and any kinds of things that you can think of that you really like at school today, there's a STEM career that you can think about and investigate to align with the things that you really love to do. Next slide. Why is it a good choice to be in STEM? Well, there's a few reasons. First, you see the money bag on the left. STEM careers tend to pay very well. And STEM careers and STEM jobs also tend to have pretty good benefits. And so for young people who like to go and travel, there are lots of jobs where you get to go out and train people in different countries. So if you go, I've spent time in Copenhagen, I've spent time in Paris, in London, in Rome, in lots of different countries, just teaching people about data and how to utilize data for their initiatives. So the money is good, the travel is good. You can find a job, as I mentioned, a job that you love and a job that really aligns with the things and your interests. STEM can impact the world. There are so many roles in STEM around ecology and the need to find ways to attack global warming, if that's a passion for yourself. And, why are we talking to you today is because STEM needs more people like you to join in the jobs and to join in the careers. All of us, we're women in STEM today. We most likely at the companies that we work for, we have lower representation than some other folks that we tend to work with. And the more different kinds of people, the more diverse a workforce is, the better the outcomes are. The more we're able to help build products and solutions that more people can use. And so it's super important to think about diversity and to bring diverse talent like yourselves into STEM careers. Next slide. HVAC. Hey, Daniel, you said HVAC. guess what? I haven't had heat since Saturday, so maybe you can come to my house and fix my furnace because the last 3 people who have been here weren't able to do it. Great career in HVAC and useful for me right now. Okay, so before we go to the panelists, I want you to think about and raise your hand, ask questions. We'd love for you to participate and, verbalize, or if you feel more comfortable asking the question in chat, that's fine as well. We'll answer either way. But when you answered, what are your favorite subjects? This question is, how do you think your favorite subject at school could relate to a topic or a particular career or job in STEM? Do we have any hand raisers? Ian. Go ahead.
Hello. So I was wondering, in terms of mechanical engineering, is Rivian currently hiring those types of people?
Brooke, you want to take that? You're on mute right now.
Yeah, I wanted to use the space bar to unmute myself and it wouldn't work. I love all the Rivian questions already. I'm so excited about this. I was hoping you guys would appreciate it. Yes, we have engineering positions open. We also have intern engineering positions open almost constantly. So to answer the question that was asked in the chat, I did reply to that individual, but our minimum hiring age though is 21 for insurance purposes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Raise your hand. We'd love to hear from you directly. And share your screens. We want to see you too. Interested in a career in fashion design. Well, that's super cool. Does anybody want to take that question about fashion design and relationships? I can throw out a couple of thoughts that I have on fashion design. Well, so people come in all shapes and sizes, right? And stores that are going to stock the newest fashions by season have to be able to understand who their customers are and have a good feel for which fashions that are out there might match their customer base and be able to order and place orders so that they can fulfill the needs of their customers. So that's just one area where you can utilize STEM for careers around fashion. So that's just kind of my thought about that. Trade schools, STEM is taught all over the place in trade schools. Like, you don't have to go to a 4-year college to have a career in STEM. And if you think about things like fabrication and welding, we actually had a panel just on fabrication and welding. That's a STEM career as well. So trade schools, colleges, the classes you're in today, computer science, any of those kinds of classes and topic areas support careers in STEM. There was a hand raised a second ago, and then it disappeared. Does anybody want to take the question about interior design? I think you might be able to add some interesting aspects to how interior design can be associated with STEM.
Valerie, I can take that from a Microsoft perspective. I think Microsoft, for many of you know Microsoft as products that you use in terms of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, which are the most used in schools. But Microsoft also has a product line which is much more around HoloLens and virtual reality and a lot of the home design and some of the work that goes into how you do virtual home design. How do you now walk through and do a virtual tour? And I think there is STEM, there is how you build the HoloLens and some of the wearable devices for you to be able to not just do the home design, but experience it firsthand and what it would be like if the house was built. I think there are some of these areas that are not just in terms of experience, but in terms of technology that takes to materialize the experiences for the users is one of the areas where Microsoft makes a huge amount of investment.
Great analysis for that, for interior design pool. Thank you. Any other ideas? I think that I'm seeing a lot of sames. There's a lot of interest in design. Pursuing a career as an AMT, but I'm open to ideas. I'm not sure what the acronym AMT stands for. I hate to say. What does AMT stand for? Maybe you can raise your hand and ask the question directly. Tomcat, go ahead.
That would be an aircraft maintenance technician.
Ah, thank you for that. Yes, I wasn't familiar with that. 100%. That's all STEM, right? You know, as we are, we're seeing now. Yeah, the plane flies because there are people who understand STEM. And if they're not people in those careers and they're not servicing the airplanes, that's very related. So that's also an interesting career to align with STEM. Let's take one more, and then I'll go ahead and introduce the panelists, and then we can take broader Q&A. Veterinarian, yay! I wanted to be a veterinarian too when I was growing up. Awesome. That's a great relationship, and it's medicine. Veterinarian careers can be even harder than human medical doctors, because you have to understand the anatomy of so many different types of animals. So, yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and introduce the panelists. They're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, the jobs they do, and maybe why they're here today, why they love doing this kind of work. And we've got panelists from so many cool companies. We've got Rivian, Oracle, Microsoft represented, so many different companies represented. So let me turn it over to the panelists to go ahead and introduce yourself. Whoever wants to go first, just go ahead and jump in. And if you don't jump in,
I'll go first.
There you go.
That's okay. I'll take it. I'll go first. I'm not shy. Hi, guys. My name is Brooke, and I am the general manager at the Rivian Service Center in Dallas. For those of you who don't know, Rivian is a relatively new automotive manufacturer. We make all electric trucks and SUVs, or what we like to refer to as adventure vehicles. They are extremely off-road capable, extremely high-tech, and we are in a really good place right now. We have so many cool things coming, and the opportunities that are STEM related just within Rivian alone are dang near endless. We have everything. We have our own facilities team. So talking about interior design, we have our own interior design team. We have our own apparel team. We have mechanical engineering teams, electrical engineering teams, and then diagnostic teams. And I ended up here because because I was actually a technician originally. So STEM and the trades have been a lifelong passion of mine. I started out, I went to Universal Technical Institute for automotive. I was a Ferrari technician at Scottsdale Ferrari Maserati, and then went on to work as a heavy diesel off-highway mechanic, which is basically like container handlers, like all the big stuff you see in ports. I worked on dozers and cranes and big forklifts and excavators. I did engineering for current product development engineering for Kenworth and Peterbilt. I ran a fleet of 6,000 garbage trucks for Republic Services. And most recently, I was in senior leadership for Home Depot for about 4 years over facilities and equipment maintenance for all of the Northwest, over about 300 to 400 logistics centers, distribution centers, and stores. I've managed teams, I've worked on cars, I've worked on big heavy equipment, and at the end of the day, the thing that I love the most is being able to help light that fire for someone else. So please, if you have questions about the industry, about the trades, about UTI, about Rivian, or you just want to talk shop, please ask questions. It's what we're all here for. Thank you.
Yes. Wow, Brooke, you've done so many different things and so many interesting and exciting things. What a career you've had. How wonderful to hear all the different things that you've done. That's excellent. Parul, would you like to go next?
Definitely. My name is Parul Manik. I work at Microsoft, and I'm a general manager in a team called Enterprise and Cloud. And the two words really mean I really fulfill wishes of the large enterprise customers that Microsoft has in terms of what they need from Microsoft products and services. And I say cloud because majority of the services I work on are cloud-based services, right? Many of you use Office 365 or Teams. All of these are services that Microsoft builds. But I really want to, before I tell you what I do today, I'll tell you kind of, I've had an interesting journey as I've entered I would say the technology industry. When I was at school and I was your age, I failed every single exam that you can. And I was told by my teachers, you're not really going to get anywhere. And I was just like, really? But that's, for me, the thing that I was passionate about at the time was playing with Legos. Until this day, I still play with Legos, and they're always at my desk. And one of the things that I want to share is, as you grow, the things that you learn changes. The things that you're passionate about changes. So don't let people label you. When I was younger, my teachers labeled me as a failure. And if I had listened to those labels, I wouldn't be where I am today. And it wasn't until I was like 18, 19 when I truly realized that what I wanted to do and what I was passionate about. So I'll tell you, for all of you who are doubting yourself today, in a few years, you won't be doubting yourself, but stay true to who you are and what you like doing. And eventually you will find a path that will lead you to what you're good at inherently. So if I come back to what I do today, I run a team of over 700 engineers across the globe in delivering services for Microsoft. And I came to work at Microsoft for only 3 years because I wanted to get Microsoft's company name on my resume, because I had been a consultant, and you want to work for a company that's reputable. And 25 years later, I'm still here and enjoying what I do today. And one of the reasons I do what I do is because it allows me to truly understand what people need across the world, and for me to be able to deliver that. For your ability to generate impact, or for you to create products and services or experiences that change the experiences for people around the world, is something that keeps me going, that keeps me coming to work every day, and keeps me in this field.
That's wonderful, Carol. Thank you so much. And thank you for reminding me again how to pronounce your first name properly. Sorry. So it's as Brooke and Parul were both talking, I just see so many head nods going across the different screens, people really listening and kind of thinking, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from on that. So those are great stories. Who wants to go next?
I can
Don't
go
be shy.
first.
There
I can
you
go
go.
next. Hi, everyone. My name is Fethiye Starmak. I work for Oracle as an implementation engineer. My day-to-day job responsibilities are maintaining utility companies' widgets around the country in order to give them the ability to serve to their customers, like any household who live in this country. This might sound complicated, but I wanted to give you a simple way of explanation. If you have a smart thermostat in your house that reads your gas and electric consumption for your house, that smart thermostat sends that information to the company who gives the gas and electric to your house. And that company takes that information and utilize it to serve your house better ways so you can save money on your heat and electric bills. So my job is to have that information utilized by widgets that I configure and program in a best and most effective ways. Now that the boring explanation of this, my job is over. I would like to kind of like get your attention to some attractive facts about being in STEM field. You probably heard it, but if you didn't, there are really, really, I think, attractive professions out there who are in the STEM field, like the STEM professionals who built a Hubble telescope to peek into universe. And there are STEM professionals, they created internet that we use every day in every part of our life. They found vaccines, you know, such as for COVID. Each of these, I think, occupations are pushing our understanding of the world we're living and the universe, and literally building our future. And unemployment rate for engineers is 1.3% versus all other occupations, 5.1%. I think that's kind of like underlines how important STEM jobs are. There are 26 million STEM jobs in US. That makes it about 20% of all US jobs. So that takes quite a bit chunk and kind of like explains how, again, it's important to be in the STEM field. Facts like these inspired me to go into technology field, and I was always interested in facts, and in school I was always trying to read books about you know, how microwave ovens work, or radio, or TV, or internet, how do they work? And the reason I wanted to speak with you all today, because I want to underline how much you can do with STEM field jobs that can open doors to you to contribute advancement in science and technology. And as a woman, you can break the gender stereotypes and pave the way for future generations. This is for the, you know, woman in STEM. I have a daughter. She is 11 years old. She immersed herself into STEM every day, and she started very early age. She just she has an interesting way of getting a heart. I have pictures that I would like to actually show you guys. She dissected some heart all by herself. I don't know if you're able to see it, but I think it's not visible, is
Yeah,
it?
it's kind of difficult to see the pictures when you hold them up to a Zoom window. It's like it
Oh,
captures it for just a second. Yeah, there we can see it. We can
okay.
see it.
Okay.
Thank you
Sorry
so
about
much.
that. But
You
yeah.
brought up so many interesting aspects of STEM and some of the related things, and you know, great reasons for it. And again, I see so many heads nodding as you were talking. Ujwala, can you go next?
Yeah, sure. So I am Ujwala. Nice to see so many folks here. So I currently work as an engineering manager with Plenty of Fish. We are a dating app company. Before this, I was working as a senior engineer for Microsoft. And one of the things that I really like about STEM is the impact that we make through the products that we build. So many of you may have heard about Plenty of Fish, or at least Tinder. So it's a dating app. And one of the things that really inspired me is how through the product that and the tech that we build, we are able to connect people. Like if you see, most of the relationship building is happening online now, because even if you go in a bar and try to hit on people, that may come as some sort of it's not easy as it used to be in past years. So people are relying more on online dating, and through the product where we get to do interesting experiments, but the base is, in the end, we want to help people to form meaningful connections. And we do that through the product using our Android app and on our iOS app, where day in and day out, we are looking at the data to see how can we best help our members find their meaningful relationship. And we do that all because of Power Through STEM, using data building UX that is very easy to use. So front-end engineering is heavily involved, and we get millions of users every day. So we have to build scalable backend services. And for that, we use cloud, on-prem, databases. And so wherever your interest is, you can find to use that interest in a way that improves our society. And that is a very powerful field to be in.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ujwala. And I love the name of your company, Plenty of Fish. Isn't that great for a company that builds dating apps? So plenty of fish in the sea. I'm sure where that came from. So yeah, very cool. Thank you so much. So let's get our last panelist, Sian.
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's very excited to be here and to be able to meet you virtually. So I'm working at Google. I am a software engineer tech lead at Google. I working on the infrastructure to support the development for Pixel phones. And I think that it's been a very exciting and challenging journey. Being a software engineer at Google, it's just every day there's something new to learn. I think that's what keeps me in here and motivated. We're always at the forefront of, the technologies that is coming up, all the new different hardware, different software, AI. Quantum computing, as you may heard of as well. So there are just so many things that are ongoing, and we're always at the forefront of it. But I want to also go back to when I was at your age. I was not just digging at my desk doing math all day. I actually really enjoy playing piano every day. I'm out playing soccer as well. And up to today, I still really enjoy playing piano in my spare time. So I think that really that you don't have to be like just doing math all day long to be in STEM. And also, I think that during my career, that I've tried many different roles actually related to STEM. So not only I got my degree in electrical engineering, and I learned to be a software engineer, and I've done product manager as well. And like some company like Google, that STEM doesn't really mean you have to sit down and do the coding all day long. There's actually a lot of different roles, and to make those technology products, like make the phones or YouTube or ads and cloud, it's not just coding. They are designers, they're UX designers, UX researchers. There are legal teams behind this, or their finance team we're working together with. So there's actually a lot of the things that you can do in the STEM field. But also on the other hand, that other than there are a lot of roles related to this, but also there's a lot of different product and industry that it's very hard to think of an industry today that is not related to technology, right? For example, that question came from the student on like fashion industry. Like think about it, we have, for example, on the shopping side, that we have like the Google Shoppings, and on the AI side, AI is helping like to draw all the design and the pictures and helping designers that way. And I used to have a colleague at Google that they have a side project. They're actually designing clothes but then putting different type of sensors onto the clothes and collect data and help people about their health information, or help the athletes about improving their performances. So all of this are STEM related, and it's a really exciting and very fulfilling direction to go in your career. So hopefully that a lot of you would feel excited to be coming in to this field as well.
Thank you, Sian. I think one of the things that you might have kind of picked out from across all the panelists, certainly the wide range of jobs that are available in STEM. The concept that some of our interests today have no relationship to what our interests were 10 years ago, right? And so things change, our interests change, things we may not have been good at. Earlier in high school, we might have failed. I was not good in math in high school, but I ended up majoring in math because I realized that I could actually do it. And so it's don't think that because today you might not have a particular skill in an area that's always going to be the case. And don't think that the job, the first job that you have out of college is going to be the job you're going to keep for the rest of your life, or first job out of trade school. Things change and your interests change. And the thing about STEM is there's so many different places and opportunities to put your skills to work. So thank you to all of the panelists. I hope they gave you some ideas on some questions to ask. You can ask a question directly of a panelist or just a general question. But we would love for you to be able to raise your hand and ask in person. And of course, we'll answer over the chat. And Lucia had posted some sample questions that you might want to ask as well if you're at a loss of what you might want to interact with us about. So let's go ahead and take the first question.